Hello YouTube, and welcome to another edition of Education 180. My name is Daniel, and I will be your head teacher for this lesson. You may be wondering what the topic is for this video. Today we'll be looking at the logical reasoning section of the LSAT. In particular, we'll be highlighting the assumption-based questions in the logical reasoning section. What does assumption mean? Assumption can be defined as follows. It is a thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. To give an example, it could be highlighted as follows. If a tourist were to go to an archaeology museum, it could be reasonably expected that the tourist would see dinosaurs at the archaeology museum. What would an assumption question look like on the LSAT? Here are some various question stems that you could see when writing the LSAT. Please take the time to pause this video and read over the following question stems. Thanks for pausing, and we continue. How do I answer an assumption question? In test 1, you look at each answer choice and ask yourself whether it contains extraneous information. If yes, eliminate the extraneous information. If no, go to test 2. In test 2, negate the statement in the answer choice. For example, the water ran under the bridge. To negate this, he would say, the water did not run under the bridge. If the argument fails in light of the negated statement, that statement is a necessary assumption of the argument, and the answer choice is the correct answer. If the argument can stand in light of the negated statement, that statement is not a necessary assumption of the argument. For example, if we were to say cars drive by the bridge every day, the water did not run under the bridge would be irrelevant to the question's stem. And we would eliminate that answer choice. Here are some sample questions. Please take the time to read the following question. Pause the video and continue when you are ready. And we continue. So the question is laid out as follows. The number of hospital emergency visits by cocaine users more than doubled this decade. Clearly, the use of cocaine rose this decade. So in other words, they're trying to make a link between cocaine usage and the amount of hospital visits. In other words, they're saying that the number of visits is correlated to the amount of drug use. So in being able to predetermine a basic conclusion before we go to the question is very helpful in solving and coming to the final answer. Because we already have a predetermined conception of how this question can be solved, we can immediately see that letter C is the correct answer choice. We said that the number of visits is correlated to the amount of drug use, and the correct answer credited to this question is the number of visits to emergency rooms by cocaine users is proportional to the incidence of cocaine usage. So we almost stated it verbatim as seen in the question. Question 2. If we must refrain from testing nuclear weapons on land simply because the lives of some of the nearby inhabitants would be endangered, then we must never explode nuclear weapons near populated areas. Please take the time to read the rest of the question and press play when you are ready to continue. So the question is broken down as follows. If we must refrain from testing nuclear weapons on land simply because the lives of the nearby inhabitants would be endangered, then we must never explode nuclear weapons near populated areas. The main argument in this question is then we must never explode nuclear weapons near populated areas. So test 1 was to eliminate extraneous information. We know that A, exploding nuclear weapons invariably endangers the lives of inhabitants, is using extreme language because the author argues only to avoid populated areas, and it'd be very difficult to make the case that the nuclear weapons invariably endangers the lives of inhabitants. So we can eliminate this question option. Letter B, the nuclear weapons can be tested without explosions. The question is not concerned about explosions. We care about endangerment. It could be that the bomb still caused endangerment without an explosion. So we can eliminate letter B off the question. Possibilities. For C, one cannot explode nuclear weapons near populated areas without endangering inhabitants. We can go to test 2 where we negate the statement. The statement would be negated as follows. One can explode nuclear weapons near populated areas without endangering inhabitants. If one can explode bombs and have no effect on endangerment of the population, then the argument would fail and C would be the credited response. Since we know that C is the correct response, we can eliminate the other two without continuing. But just for interest's sake, we can go ahead and eliminate the other two by realizing the following. D is the testing of nuclear weapons is less important than the lives of a few inhabitants. Again, the question doesn't focus on the importance of the lives of inhabitants. It focuses on whether the lives would be endangered or not. And E says the nuclear weapon should be tested despite the risk to inhabitants. Again, that's not what the question is mainly concerned about. We're concerned about the endangerment of lives of the inhabitants, and not whether the nuclear weapon should or should not be tested. So E can be eliminated as well. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like us on YouTube. And on behalf of Education 180, happy LSAT writing.